The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect the host, the show, the management, and this station.
Warm and pleasant greetings everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Special People. In behalf of Mr. Selection Manuel, I am your host, Dr. Benedict David from the segment Revalida. So ngayong pong hapon na ito, we are very blessed to have a guest who's beside me. Who's more than a professional, is an advocate towards progress. A person who has genuine concern for the workers, for everybody, for just about every Filipino. I was just reading his profile a while ago. So nakita ko yung interest talaga at yung tinatawag natin na commitment and dedication na paglingkuran ang sambayan ng Pilipino sa pamamagitan ng mga NGO at kanyang advokasya at pati po ang kanyang profesyon bilang isang accountant, real estate practitioner. Lahat na po ay nasa aking katabi ngayon na napaka-dignified at napaka-respetado sa kanyang field. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our very special speaker for today. So a brief introduction. So he's an accountant and he's also a real estate practitioner. He just founded the Association of Descendants of the Heroes of the Philippine-American War of 1899 Incorporated, or more commonly known as Kaanak 1899. On top of that, he's also an internal auditor for the Labor Party of the Philippines. And he's also a Rotarian since 1990. So magkapareho po kami ng advocacy na service above self. Service above self. And meron din po siyang consultancy firm, more commonly known as the QUITIONGCO Management Consultancy. And he is also a senior officer in the Order of Philippine Eagles, na kung saan ito ay isa sa mga advocacy, isa sa mga orders na kinabibilangan ng ating dating Pangulo na si Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Among many more NGOs, baka maubos na 30 minutes natin, and among many other professional advocacies and commitments that this very brilliant person has to offer. So without further ado, allow me to introduce Mr. Wilfredo M. Quitiongco, or more commonly known as Kuya Willie. Maraming salamat po sa pagpapaunlak. Willie, baka may gusto kayong batiin pa bago tayo mag-umpisa?
Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Andito ko ngayon sa Elizalde Broadcasting Network. Together with me is our young and hardworking broadcaster, Benedict David. I think from Pampanga. David, ano? I was invited here to give you some info about our organization, Kaanak 1899. Pero bago lahat, gusto kong batiin ang ating mga opisyalis ng Kaanak, all the regional officers in the entire country. To wit, we have Region 1 Chairman Roy Dades, Region 2 Chairman, itong ka-appoint ko lang ngayon, si Benedict David.
Maraming salamat
Regional
po.
3 Chairman, Attorney Topi Torres. Region 4 Chairman, Vic Siapatco, the descendant of General Mariano Trias. Region 4B Chairman, the Mimaropa Group, handled by Robert Bob Gabuna, the descendant of Teresa Magbanua, the famous heroine in the Visayan area, dubbed as the Joanna of Arc of the Philippines. Then Region 6, we have, again, it's Victoria Adra. Then Region 7, we have Erlene Villegas Pailano. Siya yung apo ni Pantaleon Villegas, famously known as Leon Kilat. Parang Leon Kidlat. No? Then we have Region 8 Chairwoman in the person of Sure Manuel, Resurrection Sure Manuel. Rex Manuel siya dito sa Elizalde Broadcasting. She is the descendant of General Vicente Lucban, the hero of the Balangiga Massacre. Then we have also a CPA, Kuya, an Aguila, Jim Atienza, handling the Zamboanga Peninsula. Then from the BARM group, we have Kuya Eagle Marvin Lamping Galo. Region 11, we have the sister of Cesar Mancao in the person of Marie Glossary Mancao. Region 13, we have Jeannie Gonzalez Taule, the descendant of Governor Wenceslao Gonzalez, the famous governor who defied the Americans by waving the Philippine flag in view of the American colonizers. Then we have in the NCR area, my nephew, AJ Umali Malabana, representing Father Valerio Malabanan, the teacher of General Miguel Malbar, as well as representing Colonel Maximo Abad, the hero of the Battle of Pulang Lupa. And finally, we have CAR or Cordillera area represented by our regional chairman, Leo Lintin Balikdan. He is an Igorot, by the way. We also have, I also would like to greet our Vice President External, in the person of Dr. Chelsea Tumakin, our VP External handling the USA and the Pacific region. Dr. Bernard Bowie, the one assigned to handle the Middle East area. Elsa Brasa, our contemporary who handles the Europe division together with her Deputy Malu Webster. And finally, we have candidate Senator Roel Lamoste, also known as Datu Sabunutan, who handles the entire Asian region. So these are the national officers comprising the region and the external areas. In the local, we have the provincial chairman of Bataan in the person of Susana Pacheco Chavez, the wife of our senatorial candidate Mel Chavez. Then we have Wilma Santos Malonzo, the provincial chairman assigned in Marinduque, an outstanding farmer lady. She is the one focusing on working on the experimental model farm as one of the project of our kaanak. Then we have Dr. Oscar Kalim, our chairman of the committee, the chairman of the Cooperative and Alternative and Preventive Medicine Committee. He is the one liaising with us regarding the link of our group with the Gardenia Multipurpose and Transport Cooperative. Kasi we intend to create these cooperative alliances so that we can perhaps help our people avail of the transport services franchise, where our kaanak members can own buses and jeep, air-conditioned transport jeep that will fly a route, that is given to this organization, which is already on their 20th year of existence. I also would like to recognize our chief of the Highway Patrol Group under the Kaanak War Hero Riders, Ate Lucy Agarado, based in Cavite, but she's the one handling the entire War Hero Riders in the entire country. Actually, she is an officer of the Full Spectrum Rider Association of the Philippines, and we had collaborated with her so that our Kaanak War Hero Riders can have the privilege of getting accredited with the Highway Patrol Group as its auxiliary members. Then I would like also to recognize our Visayan National Coordinator in the person of Josette Brillo, and she is also our provincial chairman in the entire Cavite region. Melissa Bonifacio Quizon, our national coordinator in Mindanao. And finally, Mercy R. Madiloso, our national coordinator handling the entire Luzon area. So, these are the people comprising our team initially. In addition, we have also a newly built chapter in New York in the person handled by our chapter president, Ferdinand Santiago. He is the one handling the entire New York base, the New York City. Then we also have one upcoming organization of Kaanak somewhere in New Zealand in the person of Roderick Santos Plandiano. These are new development. We also have one in Paramount, still in the United States, in the person of Dr. Jules Tokong. She is the chapter president of Paramount, She's also the wife of the preacher of Mike Bilarde, handling the entire country, the entire world in existence. Then we have the sister of Susan Pacheco, Lisa Cho, handling the Los Angeles territory. And finally, that of Maryland and Virginia, USA, in the person of the descendant of General Manuel Tino, Arturo Artino. Arturo E. Tino, rather. Oh.
Sir, maraming salamat. No? So, talagang
Sinabi ko na lahat.
in a brief span of time, or should I say, simula na ma-establish. So, ang laki na pala nung cloud, nung kaanak.
Yes, oo. Slowly, they are moving slowly but surely.
I'm quite impressed, no? Kasi kanina nag-uusap tayo,
Yeah.
Kuya Willie, no? Nung I'm also a descendant of si Scout Digia.
Yeah.
So,
Scout Digia.
Scout Digia. And who also happens to be the brother of, I don't know kung national artist siya, si Kidlat Tahimik.
Oo. Kidlat Tahimik. Oo, yeah. He's a
Si
famous
Victor
artist.
Digia,
Oo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sa akin, sir, is nung sinasabi nyo yung network ng kaanak,
Yeah.
I'm really amazed because most people of your, I suppose, nasa early stages sa akin na senior citizen or malapit na ba doon?
Actually, I'm a senior citizen
Senior
as of
po.
this moment. I'm already 65. By October. I'll be 65 by October.
Advance happy birthday, sir. So,
Yeah.
napansin ko, sir, most people of your age are just being, yung nag-spend lang ng retirement nila,
Yeah.
they are just being accustomed to a life that is private and hindi naman yung totally secluded, pero they're just spending the rest of their lives within their respective families, personal na.
Yeah.
So I'm really saluting you, sir, kasi despite na you can do that with all your privileges, tumutulong ka pa to trace and to do your professional commitments, whichever those may be. So, sir, I want to ask you, what's your motivation on that? Kasi it's really uncommon para sa edad mo iba. Nagta-travel na lang yung iba What's your motivation on that po? Willie?
Actually, speaking of travel, during my early years, I've been traveling a lot. No, I actually went from north to south as an auditor of Carnation Philippines. I had my place visiting the entire provinces in the entire country. I penetrate areas that are being penetrated by our co-auditors because they're afraid of the risk being posed in that territory, especially when you're talking of Mindanao, Sulu, Holo, the risky area in the Samaran Leyte where NPAs abound. Where there is risk, I go because I'm one of the adventurous type. I believe that in those areas, there could be some problems being or anomalies being done by some of our agents, our sales representative. And most of the time, I can see that indeed there were anomalies coming in those areas because nobody visits that area. So most likely they will say, hindi pupunta rito yung auditor, matatakot yan. So that challenges me. Then when I entered my life insurance industry, I was able to visit London as well as Spain, Madrid. Luckily, I was invited by my elder brother with my two offspring. We visited him in 2005 in Switzerland. We spent almost a month rather. We spent a month there in his hub. Then the reason why I work on this one is because of the motivation of the late Attorney Jose Malvar Villegas, who ordered me, or rather who told me to gather all the descendants of the heroes and create this organization we called Kaanak 1899. On a purpose. We have a purpose to unite all these descendants and instill the pride and honor that will be contained by being descendant of the hero. Unknowingly, due to the discovery of my brother, we learned that our forefathers, our ancestor pala, was one of the hero through the book that was uncovered when he started typing our surname in the Google. Nag-appear doon, meron doon pangalan, Severino Quitionco. It so happened that my brother's name is also Severino Quitionco. So na-confuse siya, sino to? Then lately, na-realize na that the name was contained in a book titled the history of the Philippine past and present, written by Dean C. Worcester. The man is one of the officers in the American military who invaded our country. So that was it. Then upon learning it, I had I was associated with Attorney Jomal Barbillegas, the founder of the original Citizen Crime Watch, and most of the time that he had been making mention of his Lolo Miguel Balbar, he always say, I remember na my grandfather is the last general who surrendered to the Americans. I was seated beside him most of the time, with the members of the group in front of us. So, as again, he was saying, I was the grandson of the last general who surrendered to the Americans, and the general who killed 40,000 Americans. See, wow, his grandfather did killed 40,000 Americans. Of course, by not doing it by himself, but rather his men did it for him, being the general. And beside me, that was the clincher, is the grandson of the assassin. Oh, the grandson of the assassin, yes, Severino Quitiongco. The guy next to me, Willie Quitiongco, is the grandson of the assassin. So, yung pala, it was written in the manifesto, brought by our Lolo, together with the 26 men in front of Emilio Aguinaldo. It says there that they are willing to offer their lives and property for the independence of our country, making them a patriot. No? So what Aguinaldo did, he wrote a note at the back of that manifesto, commissioning the two guys in the person of Severino Quitiongco and Feliciano Cruz to assassinate General Elwell Otis of the American Regiment. We just don't know what happened.
He lived.
As I see it,
He survived.
when the war started, when the war broke out, that document was dated January 12 of 1899.
Yeah.
When the war broke out, last February 4 of 1899, by William Grayson firing the single shot, killing our Katipuneros at the other side of the area in San Juan and I think that's Santa Mesa, Manila. So that started the war. After that, lots of battles followed. Battle of Manila, Battle of Caloocan, containing everything until it's captured of General Emilio Aguinaldo in April of 1901. April 1901. Then, with him being succeeded by General Miguel Malvar, and the latter surrendering on April again of 1902. That's a year. That gives me a motivation that there are so many people who died for our country, and yet they were not being given the proper recognition. So one of the objective of our kaanak is to identify these known, less known, and the unknown heroes of the revolution, and give them proper recognition simply by coming up with a heroes wall in every locality where these people did originate, and inscribing their name in that granite heroes wall, which will make their descendant proud of their heroism. That's one of the major objective. And I'm sure, as I have seen a lot of people, upon hearing that statement, everyone have that feeling of being proud, the pride and prestige. And I said to myself, I might as well carry this outside of the country, so the people outside the world would recognize who are the Filipinos. That we have these civilized people, peace-loving and patriotic guys living in this country of ours.
I think, Kuya Willie, we really need that right now, because I'm sure you're all well aware of what has been happening about the history, chismis, this and that. So sir, based on your we won't be dwelling on the politics of that, of course, because we are advocacy driven on kaanak. My follow-up on what we're discussing right now is, well, based on your experience in your profession, this and that, for our viewers, how important is knowing the sense of history so that we can move as a nation? In your opinion, sir, gaano ba ka-importante na we really know our history in moving forward, sir, as a nation. Ano sa opinion, sir? Gaano ba siya ka-importante?
Well, I find it really very important kasi if you will note, ang mga ninuno natin, mayroong respeto sa sarili yan eh. So, ayaw nila ng mga, yung ano, what you call this, yung palabra de honor, nawawala yan sa atin. Very important yun. Ayaw nila makakasagasa sila ng kahit sino. Almost always ang gusto nila, meron tayong harmony sa ating pakikipagkapwa-tao. Dahil lang sa pera, ang mga tao nag-aaway-away na. We should go back to our basic life. Love one. Love one another, sabi nga nila. Help the people around you. Share your blessings.
Indeed. Sir, ito. I love history on a
Yeah.
personal note.
Mm.
I know that I think he passed away na si Attorney Villegas.
Yeah.
Attorney Villegas being the grandson of Miguel Malvar.
Yeah.
I also read history books.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, General Malvar, besides the last general to
To surrender.
to the Americans, I think in a way, quote and quote lang naman,
Yeah.
because he was not considered,
Yeah.
he was the second president of the
Exactly.
Republic of the Philippines.
Exactly.
Because after Aguinaldo, we jumped immediately to Commonwealth.
Oo, napunta tayo kay Manuel L. Quezon.
Agad, di ba? Because of the tidings McDuffie, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, because
yeah.
of that. Correct me if I'm wrong sa mga stories na viewers natin. Pero
Yeah.
Miguel Malvar was practically the second Filipino president, followed by a revolutionary president, again in the form of or in the persona of again one of the heroes, Macario Sakay.
Yes, Macario
If I'm
Sakay.
not mistaken.
The
Tagalog
general
Republic.
the Tagalog president whom they called bandits when he was
Bandits, yes.
hung in 1907.
Yes, but he was actually a hero. di ba?
Yeah, pero he was duped by the Americans. Niloko siya.
Yun nga.
Oo, niloko siya. He should have been considered as a president also. Kaso hindi eh.
Yun nga.
Naisahan.
True. Yung
Yung
Republika
mahaba
ng
buhok, di ba?
Katagalugan.
Oh, mahaba buhok, naisahan.
Played by Marcos Season yata.
Yeah, oo.
Nung
Si
1990s.
Julio Diaz,
Ay,
I
sorry,
think, Julio Diaz,
sorry.
oo.
Julio Diaz. Sa
Julio
sila
Diaz.
Techi Albayani,
Yeah,
andun yata.
oo.
So sir, yun yung mga, hindi naman siya trivia per se because it's also public knowledge.
Yeah.
Pero I think importante siyang malaman po di ba? Lalo ng mga kabataan ngayon.
Yes. Oo.
Kasi if you're going to read history books right now, butas.
Butas nga, oo.
Butas na butas.
Mm-mm.
Di ba? So sir, follow-up ko dyan po is, knowing all of that, I mean, there are history, quote-and-quote na mga history books ngayon,
Yes,
di ba?
yes, oo.
Then you mentioned a certain book.
Oo.
I think it was written in 1899 ba? Not mistaken.
Prior pa ata yan. After the war yan eh. It was
After the
written
war.
by the general who got involved in the Philippine-American War in 1899, 1902. I just don't know kung kailan yung talagang publication date niya. Pero it says that the Philippine past and present. You can Google that. And the author is Dean C. Worcester.
He was a general. Right?
He was a general. Oo. And mind you, most of the history books that are being read by most of us Filipinos are written by the victors.
True.
So,
True.
yung
True.
totoong nangyari
Yes.
talaga, hindi
Yes.
nasasabi sa ating mamamayan. And the best person who can tell the people of what really happened during the war are the direct descendants. Because tiyak yan, yung mga impormasyon yan was passed on from their lolo to their father, mother, to the children, and to the grandchildren. Ganun ang pagpasa ng impormasyon. Unless those were fully documented, just like what we had, the document, the manifesto that was captured kay Emilio Aguinaldo, it served as a proof na indeed our lolo participated in the war. Yung nga lang, hindi siya armed component. Para siyang civilian agent assigned to assassinate a person located in the Malacanang area. Oo.
So, kumbaga, gun for hire siya. No?
Gun for hire, lumalabas. Pero my lolo is a businessman traveling from Manila to Hong Kong, where he met his second wife. Young lady, young lass, at the age of 12 or 13, inalagaan na ng lolo ko. Kasi British English woman. Then, yung nga, pag uwi nila rito, ay dito kung ano na nangyari. Kasi we were born at the time na wala nang existing na mga olds namin who could tell us the stories. So what allows me to know about my ninuno is the records that we found in the Gothenburg Press, the book, no?
I know
That Gothenburg Press is in Germany.
Yes.
That book was printed in Germany. And then it so happened that my firstborn was able to locate a document. That document that I think I will show you it to you later, or you have seen it ata in document.
Yes.
That document was contained or stored rather in the Lopez Heritage House in Balayan, Batangas. Pinuntahan na namin yon one time nung nagbisita rito ang kapatid ko. It so happened lang na the person in charge is not around, so we were not able to enter and see for ourselves yung dokumento na nakadisplay doon. We would request sana for a certificate copy, certified true copy of that document. Para at least, ano yun, treasure yun para sa amin. Napakaliit lang na kaprasong papel lang yun.
So, sir, ang ganda nung trust and I see the direction as with the viewers right now, I'm sure. Nakikita yung direction nung kaanak eh. So, sir, I'm just wondering na because to be honest, I haven't learned of that book, yung si Beam, yung general before, di ba? Do you think that if we can have a copy, pwede ba siyang gawing reference book ng mga eskwela?
Exactly. Yes.
Kasi ngayon, I'm not gonna name historians, yung mga ngayon.
Yeah.
Kaya lang kasi napapansin ko is, it's true, it's always written by the victors and written for the victors.
For the victors,
and
indeed.
By, for, and of the victors.
Yes.
So, in your opinion, sir, well, this would be a given fact. If we can secure that book, mababago naman siguro natin yung history ng Philippines. You know? We can,
in a way, yes.
In a way,
plus
can we improve it?
Plus the constant communication that we could have with the existence of these existing descendants of the heroes. And I'm sure many of these descendants of the heroes do have with themselves the books that their lolos or lolas had kept. One of our descendant, Attorney Topi Torres of Bulacan, the descendant of General Isidoro Torres, the famous and fearless hero of Bulacan, commanding 5,000 to 8,000 men. She has a book. Detailing the life story, the autobiography of his lolo. In the same manner that my kumpare from the state, Arturo E. Tino, direct descendant of General Manuel Tino of Nueva Ecija, he has also a book about his lolo. Sabi ko, if we could perhaps borrow those books and have them as our reference material. In our upcoming, by the way, we are coming up with a publication of our Kaanak magazine.
That's nice. That's good.
Where we will be publishing stories about our ninuno. We will do it initially. I will start with the brief history of the Kaanak organization, the formation, the officers, the leaders, their heroes, their hero ancestors. Opposite that hero ancestors are the respective descendants. So, magkatapat sila maglola, magkatapat sila. Then, after that, we will start going deeper. The life story of General Miguel Malvar, the life story of General Isidoro Torres, Manuel Tino, General Mateo Noriel Luga, who else? Generala Teresa Magbanwa, the famous Teresa Magbanwa of Iloilo. Pototan Iloilo. She is the she was the Lady General who commanded more or less 800 men. Riding a horse, carrying a pistol and what do you call that? Gulok or a bolo on her hand, in her hand. Wielding those things to fight her enemy. But then, according to our colleague na si Bob Gabuna, her lola Isay, he called her lola Isay uses her charm. Kasi nung araw, ang mga dalaga nakasaya yan nakasaya, carrying with her a bottle of wine. Ang gagawin niya, pagdaraan siya sa mga grupo ng mga sundalong Kastila or Amerikano, nililis niya yung kanyang palda, yung kanyang saya. Makikita yung sakong. Doon pa lang, alam mo na, ibig kong sabihin. So, Itong mga nakakakitang gano'n ng sakong at ino-opera niya ng lambanog or base o what, pag nalasing na, doon pumapasok yung kanyang inintroduce na sistema ng agaw-armas. Inaagaw yung armas ng mga, pag pumito siya gano'n, pag nag-whistle siya, labas sa kanyang mga sundalo, snatching the firearms of these enemies of them. So, walang putukan, and yet nakuha nila yung armas ng kalaban. That's how brilliant and sensible our Lady General was.
Nice. I would want to emphasize also on General Isidoro Torres.
Yes,
Kasi
yes.
If, I don't know if you have watched Goyo, yung Batang General,
Yeah,
di
oo.
ba? And if you have watched that, General Isidoro Torres was given a bad light on that movie.
Is that so?
If I'm not mistaken, not really a bad light, but there was an altercation involving him and Goyo because of an incident that happened, I think, in Bulacan in the contemporary written history that we have. And on the movie, I think it was done in Lingayen or wherever.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a historical location, whatever. But the thing was, General Goyo called the attention of Isidoro Torres because they are supposed to salute to Aguinaldo.
Yeah,
Which one of them ordered to salute to the Philippine flag. So it gave a bad light on the general because I think he was lambasted by Goyo. So I am really convinced that if we're going to read or to release these anecdotes that has been passed on to these generations, we would be clarified. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
Tama,
Be
tama.
clarified. Because these anecdotes, sabi nga, each time I teach, anecdotes become fables. And fables become legends. And through these legends, we can somehow correct.
Tama.
Correct, and we can align what our history is truly meant to be for our country.
Future generations.
Future generations. So may align na. So sir, talagang it's a really good advocacy, no? So sir, right now, as we wrap this up, in your experience and through the advocacy that we have, wherein also I'm now a member of that. Maraming salamat po.
Welcome to Kaanak
Salamat po.
1899.
I am really honored because I like history a lot. Then, ano sir, or should I say, how do you see the horizon of our Filipino heritage? I mean, syempre may future yan eh. But with the help of Kaanak, how do you see the horizon of our heritage maybe for the next 10 years, 20 years? Will it improve, or how well will it improve? Rather, of course it will. But how well are we going to align our history to finally settle the score?
Siguro with proper presentation of documentary evidence, chances are we can correct history. And the best evidence that we could have are what written documents that we could gather. And other than the written document are the testimonies of the descendants themselves, which are passed on to them from the upper level down to their generation.
Kasi ako sir, personally, no, Kuya Will, I will listen. I would rather listen to a story ng apo kaysa magbasa ng libro ng isang researcher, included because a researcher, which wherein I was not even born yet. Nag-research lang unless the actual source is the ancestor. However, it's not eh. Yun ang problema po natin eh. Diba? So sir, I am hoping that this advocacy will really flourish, and I hope I can help, of course.
Definitely, we will be needing your assistance or your support because this one is a gigantic task. If you will browse in the different goals and objectives that we have written, there are 12 major goals and objectives here. Hindi madali. Kasi each one contains a lot of clarification, a lot of coordination, cooperation, and support from the personalities involved. Pero one thing that we would like to contain in here, yung vision natin to build a country of peace-loving and patriotic Filipinos, where we will promote unity. Sabi nga ni Bongbong Marcos, dapat magkaisa na tayo. Where we should be having compassion, then care. Siyempre, the spirit of brotherhood na laging pinopromote ng Rotary, ng Aguila, and whatever organization, even the Guardians where I also belong. I'm a Guardian, by the way. And yet, each of them fight to each other Hindi dapat ganun. Dapat nagkakaisa tayo.
Kaya nga,
Yung mga bagay na pinagtatalungan, dapat yun pinag-uusapan.
That's true,
Oo.
that's true.
Now, isa rin sa ginawa nating objective dito sa Kaanak is to promote the welfare ng ating mga kababayan. Why? How, rather? You, me, professionals, have connections. We can create a group where we could help these people get the necessary skill training, support, no? In terms of livelihood, in terms of scholarship, in terms of what have you. Initially, we have set up this AXPRO Development and Training Corporation. That is a test skill training center where we organize. I am the president of that organization, and I have it tied up with Kaanak. The purpose is for our Kaanak members to be able to gain knowledge, skill through the TESDA online courses or face-to-face. TESDA are offering our countrymen. Maganda yon dahil once you get the training from TESDA, you'll be given certificate. And as I mentioned a while ago, we have a Vice President External handling Middle East. Meaning, if these people having trained in this TESDA skill for household work, housekeeping work, or domestic work, no, or deployment abroad, we have Vice President in areas in Middle East who has expertise in the different manpower agencies located in the area, as well as the principal, because that guy that I had appointed has been an officer of the different agencies or employment agencies in that area in the Middle East. So he has lots of connections.
Nice.
That would be very helpful.
That's good.
Now, setting up another various chapter in those localities, that will guarantee that these people are protected. They will not be dependent on our embassy. Sabi nila, hindi sila tinutulungan. But rather, there are Kaanak chapters in that area. We call that Masonic, no? Masonic Lodge. Parang Masonic Lodge tayo. Where they can go. There are legal personnels there. There are other consultants there who can help them attend to their specific problem. Para kang merong sariling embassy sa teritoryo na yon. At least napoproteksyon ang interest ng ating kababayan. That's a long-term advocacy, pero I'm sure we can do that. Now, also with this Kaanak, bago namatay yung ating founder, si Atty. Jomal Villegas ng Citizen Crime Watch, sabi niya, Willie, ikaw ay isa sa opisyalis ng Labor Party Philippines, Workers and Peasants Party. Importante, maitayo natin ang labor government sa Pilipinas. Pattern sa Germany. Look at what Angela Merkel, the Prime Minister for 18 years, had done in Germany. Living a simple life, dressing in simple uniform, walking from house to their office, buying groceries and other food items just like the common tao in their area. If we could develop or organize that labor government in our country, yung chances are mababago ang takbo ng ating buhay. Graft and corruption will slowly get eradicated. Oo. And as a support for that graft and corruption being eradicated, yung kanyang Citizen Crime Watch na under in hot water ngayon kasi nag-aaway-aaway yung mga yung mga dating kasama namin na nagkanya-kanya ng faction, gumawa tayo ng task force. Ang pangalan ng ating task force, in an answer to that crime and corruption prevention, gumawa tayo ng task force na Task Force Kaanak Global Anti-Crime and Corruption Group. Global, meaning, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas siya gagalaw. The entire world, na mayroong Pilipino, makikialam sila. And it is manned by our able and highly responsible, hardworking General Ben Latag.
That's good. That's good.
Ano yan? Mga respected guy yan from Batangas. Ben Latag.
They all ring a bell.
Yeah.
So sir, ayun, in the interest of time din, maraming salamat po sir sa pag-guest, and I'm sure that the message has been sent to the viewers that we should treasure our history.
Exactly.
Because that is our stepping stone towards national progress.
Yes.
Again sir, maraming salamat po Kuya Will.
Yeah.
And sa mga viewers po natin, I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from this episode. So let's see each other again in the next segment. Maraming salamat po. Have a nice day ahead po.
Have a nice day. God bless.
Maraming salamat Kuya Will.
Elizabeth Broadcast